saying? Something terrible has happened. How could you do this? How could you do this to me again? Just when
I'm telling you, John, I just bought the Johnson Company. I know, couldn't be done, right? Well, I damn well did it. We had him backed into a corner. Well, yeah, I bluffed, but he's old. Yeah, we'll pay him $10 million. What, you're surprised? I'm telling you, he was desperate. I know he wanted 15, but I also know his doctor. Well, through a third party. And I know he's very ill, so 10 it is. Yeah, right, let's meet in the morning with Smitty, yeah, and Evelyn. We'll draw up a draft contract and an acquisition plan, step by step. Yeah, dig out that plan we used when we bought Beckwith. I want something preliminary for him to sign by noon to tie this down. Right. What? Oh, Mother, she just came in. She's all riled up about something. Right. Tomorrow at 8.
Sweetheart, I've got the most terrible news.
Mother, I just bought another company.
Oh, well, that's very good. I'm sure it's very good. My spiritual counselor said something good would happen to you today. Fortuitous. That's the word she used. Something bad would happen to me. Something unfortunate. Well, it's more than unfortunate. It is tragic.
Mother, what's the matter?
Pastor Perkwood. He's thinking of breaking our engagement. Can you imagine?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mother. You must be heartbroken.
He took me out to dinner. Our favorite table at Montague's. He ordered my favorite wine. And over the creme brulee, how could he? He knows how I loved the creme brulee. He proposed to me over the creme brulee. How could he choose that moment to say he's reconsidering?
Mother, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why did Pastor
Why is
Perkins
this happening to me again? This is the 4th time. 4 different men have been interested in me, and 4 times. Am I a leper? It's your father, I do believe it. My counselor said that he's at the root of things like this.
Mother, you're not a leper, and all those men didn't ask you to marry them now, did they?
Well, they would have. Mr. Baldwin was about to, I know it. And Mr. Burdick, he hinted at marriage. And Mr. Ralph, oh, he was so handsome. He seemed to take a fancy to you.
Mother, don't be ridiculous.
Well, he did. He kept talking about you right before he stopped seeing me. Oh, well, I've told you before. He said that the feelings you aroused in him would keep him from, you know.
Mother, I'm sure your Mr. Ralph had no feelings for me.
Well, he must have. Otherwise, why would he? Why, Pastor Perkwood said the same thing.
Mother, he didn't.
He did. Or something of the sort. I don't know. I wasn't listening at that point. I was so upset.
Well, I'm sure I had nothing to do
I
with
didn't even finish my creme brulee.
I'm sure he didn't mean that.
Let me think. He did say that. He said something about you, your feelings, his feelings. I don't know. He said you would know why he was having second thoughts.
You must not have heard things clearly.
Oh, my counselor said this was going to happen. Oh, she knows so much. He did say that. Pastor Perkwood, he said you would know why he was reconsidering. Oh, why is this happening to me again?
Mother, calm down. Calm down. Would you like some tea? Wine?
No, I couldn't. What did he mean? Why did he say you would understand?
I don't know. No clue. Well, I am going to have some champagne. I'm going to celebrate my new acquisition. It's quite a coup.
I'm sure it must be. Hello? Why, yes, dear. Well, yes, I am, very much so. Would you please hold on for just a moment, dear? It's Pastor Perkwood. He's worried about me. I'm going to talk to him from my bedroom. I think I'd better ask him to explain what he means about you.
I'm sure everything will be all right, Mother. Go talk to him. Well, I'm celebrating here all by my lonesome, sketching out plans for the Johnson Company purchase. Well, if we take over their HR, accounting, procurement, maybe maintenance, we could save like $500,000 a year. Yeah, I know I'm a little blurry, but I've never had a whole bottle of champagne before. Well, Mother didn't want any. She was all upset about her man friend. And I didn't fancy sticking a whole bottle of Dom Perignon back in the fridge. What? Okay, right. Tomorrow at 8.
Sweetheart, Pastor Perkwood says you wrote to him.
Mother, not tonight. I've had too much to drink, and
He
you're
says
upset,
you wrote
so
to him. Why would you write to him?
What else did he say I did?
Did you write to him?
Write to him? I may have done.
May have done. What kind of an answer is that?
All right, I did. I wrote to Pastor Bloody Penguin.
I don't understand. What did you write? What did you write, sweetheart?
I told him to take a hike.
Darling.
I told him he's not wanted in this family.
You told him? Oh, no. Well, you know how he feels about family. You know that his entire mission is built on the importance of family. He has his Perkwood Family Foundation. How could you? And why? I don't understand. Are you trying to keep me from getting married?
As a matter of fact, I am, Mother. I'm trying to keep you two from marrying. I'm trying to drive that man away.
What's...
There, I said it.
I don't understand. What are you saying? Why would you do that?
Mother, you know why.
I'm sure I don't. Pastor Perkwood also said that Mr. Ralph told him. You remember Mr. Ralph?
Oh, yes, Mr. Handsome Ralph. He abandoned you too, didn't he? Wait, he was number 3.
Well, he is in Pastor Perkwood's congregation, and he said Mr. Ralph told him that you had spoken to him too, you know, back when...
And he was trying to get in your pants.
Oh, sweetheart, don't talk like that. Oh, that's the champagne talking, isn't it?
No, Mother. For once, this is your daughter talking. As a matter of fact, I did have a few choice words for Mr. Handsome, Mr. Ralph.
I don't understand.
I told him to fuck off.
Oh, sweetheart, I've never heard you talk like this before.
Well, you've never heard me at all, Mother. Never heard me.
I've always listened to you, darling. Ever since your father left us, I have tried to listen.
I didn't say you didn't listen to me, Mother. I said you didn't hear me. Well, hear me now. I told Pastor Pequin to take a hike. I told handsome Mr. Ralph to fuck off. I whispered it in his ear. I got him to take me to bed.
What are you saying? Are you crazy?
After that, I had him. And getting rid of Mr. Burdick was easy. I knew all about him and his secretary, his married secretary.
What is happening? This is insane. Are you saying that you tried to...
drove them all away. Would you like to hear about Mr. Baldwin?
No, I don't want to hear any of this. This is insane. This can't be true. You're making this up.
Well, they all went away, didn't they, Mother? All your men? They went away, didn't they?
Sweetheart, I'm calling Dr. Sweet. Something has happened to you.
Mother, don't be silly. You know why I drove those men away.
Is it your father? I know he told me to avoid men right before he died. He told me that. Did he tell you to do these terrible things?
Everything else, but not that.
And I don't know why you're doing this. I don't know what you're
Mother,
talking
you
about.
know.
Oh, are you afraid of losing me? You know I'll still be in your life if I marry again.
Mother, you need me more than I need you.
Oh, dear. Are you afraid of men? Just tell me, I'll understand.
No, Mother. I like men. I quite liked you, Mr. Handsome Ralph, in bed.
Stop! I don't believe you. Stop! Is it the money? Are you worried if I married again?
Mother, I control the money, remember? Father's airtight trust that I finally managed to get control over his dead body.
Your father was a very good planner.
My father was a son of a bitch.
Oh, you've gone too far. Let me take. Oh, dear. How can you say that about your father? Is that what all of this is about? You're afraid that one of these men is going to replace your father?
Mother, my father was the most controlling, most manipulative bastard that ever walked the earth.
That's not true. Now, your father had his faults, but you don't know what you're saying.
Mother, you're not hearing me.
Are you mad? Have you lost your mind? I should just leave you here.
You know, my shrink's been telling me for years I should unburden myself. Well, as of tonight, I have. I deposit this burden onto your shoulders.
Well, maybe I should talk with her then. What's her name again?
Her name is Screwed. Check the spelling on the gravestone. She died last month.
Oh, dear. That's what all this is about. You've lost your counselor. You've become unhinged. Oh, sweetheart, we can find another one.
Mother, I'm hinged. Believe me, I'm hinged. And you know why I drove your men away.
For the life of me, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait here.
Is this... Are you... I know you probably miss me, and I miss you too, but I'm so lonely.
Hey, say hello from old 34A.
Oh, I don't know what to say.
Well, I know what to say, and I was saying it with deeds.
Do you mean you've been... Oh, no, dear, over these? Well, they were so long ago, they don't mean anything.
They didn't mean anything to you, to Father. Did you ever think what they did to me, Mother? Did you?
Well, your father only wanted the best for you. He wanted the best for his little girl.
Stop defending him. He was a manipulative, controlling bastard.
That's not true, and you know it. He loved you.
How did he love me? Let me count the ways. He planned my days for me, hour by hour. He wrote a list for me of what I'm going to do every day. He chose my hairstyle, my clothes, my food, my subject at school, my teachers. He chose my makeup, the wallpaper in my room. The bastard even chose my underwear, for Christ's sake. No sexy bras for my little girl. Some lecherous boy might drool over her breasts.
He was only trying to protect you.
He chose my boyfriends. No, wait. He made sure I didn't have any. Mike Mullane bikes over on a Sunday afternoon. Father heads him off at the pass, takes one look at him and tells him to keep on pedaling. Does that to every boy who phones me. Sends me to a girls' school to keep the fucking boys away.
That was only for your education. He was
the books I could read, the movies I could see, the TV shows I could watch.
He was a caring, protective father.
He was an obsessive maniac. He must have lain awake nights concocting his devious schemes to control every aspect of my being. Mother, he chose my fingernail polish, my fucking fingernail polish.
He wanted the best for you. He doted on you.
Doted? He feasted on me. He fed his uncontrollable anxieties by consuming me, my life. If he couldn't control everything around him, he went crazy. Do you remember the kitchen cabinets?
Yes.
He insisted they be to 1/64 of an inch. Fired 6 cabinet makers until he could find an idiot who would make them to 1/64 of a fucking inch.
He was an engineer.
And I was a piece of metal to be machined to perfection to relieve his anxieties. He chose my college, never asked me. When he found out the dorms were co-ed, he rented an apartment for me and he plunked Cousin Charlie in there as my warden to watch my movements. No male guests, in by 9. Charlie probably reported on my periods.
What? At least your father trusted Charlie.
Mother, Charlie was gay. He was a transvestite to boot. He had more bras and panties than I did.
Well, I wondered, but we never knew.
Well, Father certainly knew. Really, Mother? When he wore lipstick his senior year, you never Anyway, so Father gives Charlie free room and board, and he has him report on my comings and goings.
He wanted to protect you, and he wanted to make sure you were safe.
To make sure I wasn't friends with any boys, you mean? Why didn't he just buy me a chastity belt with a built-in guillotine? You dare touch my daughter with that thing. Thwack!
Oh.
Remember the overnight at Maggie Palmer's? I told Charlie where I was, gave him the phone number, all that. What does my ever-trusting father do? He makes his usual phone call to Charlie to check on me, and he orders Charlie to rush over there at fucking midnight. Charlie comes flouncing in drag to make sure I'm sleeping alone. Asks if he could borrow Maggie's high heels.
Well, he was worried about you. Boston is a big city.
Well, how do you think I felt, Mother? Do you think I felt loved, desirable, filled with self-esteem? Father wouldn't let me grow my hair long. I might pull a Rapunzel and haul some hunk up to my bedroom.
No, that's quite enough. Your father and I always hoped that the perfect man would come along for you.
He would have needed a mine detector. Any boy with a freckle on his nose, you drove away. Father was very cunning about that. Checked into the guy's family, threatened to get Billy Everett's dad fired if he kept sniffing around me that summer. Poof, Billy's gone. He did a lot of that stuff, my father.
Your father didn't trust Billy, and look how he turned out. Your father was a very good judge of people, you know.
Mother, you were so blind. Father could have burned me at the stake, told you it was a barbecue, and you would have whipped up the sauce.
Oh, that's most unkind, my dear.
And then we come to the serious stuff, folks. The main event. I finally land a boyfriend, in spite of my father's machinations. I'm 21, my senior year, the only 21-year-old virgin in Boston, and that's including the nuns. And, unfortunately, the altar boys we've since found out. I have attracted a man, a wonderful man. He loves me. We're making plans. Harry.
Well, darling, we had some... Your father
Harry
discovered
Houdini. He vanished. He disappeared from my life. I never heard from him again. I was devastated.
Honey.
10 years ago, Harry died. His mother gave me some things she thought I might be interested in, with some pictures of me, of us. Exhibit A. Well, golly, it's from my mother to Harry's parents. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Black, my husband has written to your son separately about his relationship with our daughter. I'm writing to ask that you encourage him to stop pursuing her. Her father has mapped out a plan for her further education, which will require her to work very long hours in her studies. I've memorized the whole thing. A romance at this time is out of the question. And furthermore, and I hope you won't take offense at this, we feel strongly that Harry is not up to our family's standards in many ways. In short, Harry is not wanted in this family. What a lovely note to send to the parents of the man who loves me.
It was for your own good. Your father wrote that. He just made me copy it on my stationery.
Exhibit number 2 from my father to poor Harry. He goes over the same wonderful points of your letter, and he encloses a check for $20,000. We understand your parents are experiencing financial difficulty. Our daughter tells us your father requires a surgery he cannot afford. If you accept this check, You must sign in return the enclosed letter in which you undertake to have no more contact with our daughter. How lovely. My father, in all his despicable glory, he thought I was so special, he paid my dowry to drive the man away.
It would not have been a good match for you. And those poor people needed the money. Now, your father thought that if he wrote to them...
thought that someone had managed to get a string around one of my marionette strings, right? A finger around them. And he hated it. It drove him crazy. And then what? She manages to attract another man. She falls in love. She plans to marry him. And wait for it, he too ends the relationship, just like that. Years later, his bride invited me to their wedding. And he danced with me. And he held me close. And he said, I wish you were my bride. I've never stopped loving you. And I said, well, why did you end things then? And he said, well, after your parents wrote, I knew it would never work out. Family means everything to me, and besides, your father had me over a barrel. My parents had been at work again. He gave me these. I won't read them. I might vomit again.
Your father was worried.
Yeah, I know, different tactics, different pressure points, same result. You two were sick, Mother, sick.
I didn't want to. He made me.
Oh, the devil made you do it.
What can I say?
You can say goodbye to your Pastor Penguin. He won't marry you without your family's blessing. And besides, he needs your money. He knows it, and you know it.
Well, yes, I have promised to help him.
Well, you can tell him your daughter controls your every penny. He's going to need a miracle to get a peep at a nickel of yours. There must be a piece of scripture somewhere that'll tell him to fuck off.
Hello, America, and welcome to Fact or Fiction. I'm your host, Ron Baker. Now, today's show has welcomed back our champion, Bunny. Hello, Bunny. And how are you today?
Mother, what is this? Did Father's ghost come to call? You must have shown a smidgen of independence. Did you threaten to choose your own hairstyle?
No, darling. This symbolizes what you are doing to me. Do you feel good about it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I feel incredibly good about it. You messed with my love life, and now I've messed with yours.
Oh.
Do you want me to tighten that? You look a little comfy.
I have been thinking. Pastor Perkwood adores me. He really does. I think he will still want to marry me.
I wouldn't bank on it, Mother. His mission would go up in flames if I kicked up a fuss. And I don't know if you realize this, but I hold the mortgage on his church.
I don't understand.
I bought it from the bank 6 months ago as a little insurance. The church has been so late on its payments, I could foreclose anytime I want.
I see.
Mother, who are you?
What? I'm your... What do you mean?
Do you believe in anything?
Well, I'm sure I do.
You know, I don't think you do. You have a backbone made of putty. You're as solid as smoke. Your religion, you'll change it for the pastor. Your taste in food is, well, whatever the pastor wants, whatever Father wanted, whatever any of these men want. Your clothing, your political beliefs, your furniture, ditto, ditto, ditto. You thought you were in charge of the gardening? Why is it that all of our bushes and hedges are lined up in rows to 1/64 of an inch? Why is it that everything outside is totally and completely aligned? Father couldn't go to bed at night if the hedges weren't trimmed. It was Father. He lined me up and he lined you up and he rolled over the top of us.
You could change all that if you wanted. In the garden, I mean.
I don't have time, but don't you see? You love to garden, but you would gladly hand those decisions over to me, and I hate gardening. And if I said, let's spray paint the plants pink, or let's blacktop over the whole lawn, you'd say, that's peachy. You're like jelly, Mother. You let other people think for you.
Well, that's not entirely true. And you must admit that your father knew a great deal.
Yes. Father was an expert on everything, right down to my fucking cup size. Mother, you go through life looking for authority figures everywhere, someone to whom you can hand over your thinking. The doctor knows best. The president knows what's good for the country. Pastor Perkett knows this. Father knows everything. What do you know? Do you know anything? Is there any you?
Well, I can be stubborn about some things. You have said so many times.
Yes, you can be stubborn, but not about anything that you believe in. Only about something somebody else has fed you. You're like a marshmallow, Mother. You let other people manipulate you.
I don't know about that. I will have to think about that.
First, you have a daughter with an abusive man, or so you tell me. My real father knocked you around.
Yes, he was terrible.
Then you marry another man who proceeds to control and manipulate every aspect of your being. And what's the first thing he does? He adopts your daughter, and he changes her name to his so that he can control her, and control her he does.
I know he thought he was doing the right thing.
No. Do you remember what he did? At age 22, he thought I might have a few hormones trickling through my system. So he picks a man for me. He auditions him, arranges a few dates for us.
Oh, he knew the man. He had done business with him, Jonathan Phillips. He was a nice older man.
Do you know what your nice, older Jonathan Phillips did? He got your innocent, sheltered, know-nothing daughter, stinking drunk, and he raped me.
That's outrageous. He did no such thing.
I was there. He raped me.
I don't believe you. Jonathan Phillips?
Well, you know, I never got his ID, but he said his name was Jonathan Phillips, and he raped me.
Why didn't you?
Why didn't I come to you? Oh, a fat lot of good that would have done.
Well, we would have
hustled me off to a fucking nunnery. That's what you would have done, and it would have been my fault.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, thanks, Mother. I wonder what kind of report Jonathan dispatched back to Father. Subject was wearing regulation plain panties as required by the warden. I was your daughter. Why didn't you protect me? Why didn't you protect me then? Wasn't I worth a little protection?
So sorry.
Mother, you're not an evil person. But my stepfather was so obsessed with controlling everything around him that he was evil. He was evil. And he was gripped by that obsession, and to satisfy it, he ruined a lot of lives. He ruined mine.
How can you say that? Look how well you've done with your business.
Mother, I have done well because it was his business. And I have devoted my imagination and my energy to building it beyond his wildest dreams so that I could eradicate and expunge and flush out every aspect of him from the business. I have been obsessed to do well out of hatred for what he did to me.
Well, that doesn't make sense. He brought you into the business.
Yes, to control me. And then he died. And in the meantime, he had destroyed every chance I had at love. He undermined every relationship I ever had. He snuffed them out before they got going. And not a lot of them wanted to get going.
Well, men find you very attractive. Why, you're beautiful.
Mother, look at me. I'm not beautiful.
Sweetheart.
You're not looking, Mother. You're not seeing me. I'm not beautiful.
Oh.
Never was. I'm not pretty or cute or handsome or fetching. I'm homely. I'm the homecoming queen of homeliness.
Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way.
It's the truth. And my homeliness has cut down on my chances with men. And then Father just fucking destroyed them. He wallpapered over the wallflower. He stuck a clown's nose on the ugly duckling.
Are you having problems now with, is it Fred?
It is Fred, Mother. It's Freddie Wright of the law firm Wright, and Wright. And yes, we're having problems, or I'm having problems. I'm wrong for him, but in many ways I adore him.
Is that what this is all about?
I have problems with all my relationships, Mother, and it's always the same. My God, am I talking about my life? And you're listening? This is a first. I must be asleep. I do talk in my sleep.
I'm sorry you're having problems, dear. I don't mean to pry, but is it, you know, with...
Mother, it's okay. You can say it here. Say it with me. Ready? Sex. No problems with sex. I'd go down on the postman for a roll of stamps.
Don't degrade yourself like that, my dear. Oh. I'm so sorry.
I've had some men, Mother, but they have all humiliated me in their own way, conned me, degraded me. Don't forget belittled. I'm a doormat. I've paid their gambling debts, posted their bail, bought their cars.
Oh, dear. Well, I remember that nice Mr. Harris.
I paid for his shrink. He got me to lend him money. I bought a second mortgage on his home. I lost every penny. It torments me.
A second mortgage, and you said that with Pastor Perquit.
Ah, yes. I purchased the first mortgage on his property to torment him.
What does your counselor say about all of this?
Hell, I think it's all this that killed her. She said I couldn't commit. I cannot commit with men. And there's been some good ones amongst the cruddy ones, but I get to the bridge and I can't cross over. It's like I'm on the diving board, but I can't dive in. Or I said that to her.
Well, what did she say to you?
Well, since we're in Analogy City tonight, she said, it's like I'm flying first class, high in the sky, but I left my fucking luggage behind.
I'm sure she didn't use language like that.
She said there's some essential, vital, important part of me that never made the trip to adulthood. It got left behind, mired in the muck of adolescence. When it comes to romance, to my relationships with men, I'm a teenager, barely a teenager. I've never developed beyond that.
Well, why did you leave this behind?
It was Father. He fucking traumatized me. He fucked with my head so much when it came to men, to boys, to femininity, confidence with boys. He traumatized me, cauterized me. You know how you always say I'm still my father's little girl?
Yes, and you always curl your lip when I say so.
It's because I'm still a little girl. I mean, in business, I've got balls. In relationships, I've got Barbie dolls. You can't imagine how awful it's been. My shrink had me revisit the experiences, and I fell apart every time. By the time I left the sessions, I was a quivering bowl of porridge.
I'm so sorry. I never knew.
It's bad enough to be a doormat for less than desirable men, but for the ones that, the really decent ones, to not be able to commit like an adult would, to not be able to cross the bridge.
What happens when you try to cross the bridge?
I freeze up. I go cold, even though I'm banging them. It's like the first hint that they want me to commit or they want to commit, I whack him with the back of my hand. I don't even know I'm doing it half the time. It's the few decent men, the ones I could have loved. As soon as they got serious, I lopped their testicles off.
Oh, God.
Castrati. They enter with the family jewels intact. They exit with them dangling at their ears.
I think you are broken, my love.
Part of me is, Mother. It's broken off. I've left some of me behind.
Oh. Is there any more champagne?
Christ, I hope not.
I let you down.
Oh,
I let you down. I did. You were right, absolutely right. I should have protected you from your
Fucking father?
No. I may think that, but I'm not that drunk. From your father. You know, it's funny. When I drink, I start to stutter. You should hear me try to say, Pastor. Oh, your father. He used to buy my bras too.
Why am I not surprised?
I told him I wanted a push-up bra, and he thought it was for exercising because of the name. You know, like. When he found out what it was, he forbid me to have one.
Meanwhile, he had me strapped into bras endorsed by the World Wrestling Federation.
I should have protected you. I should have stood up for you. You were such a beautiful,
Homely,
lovely,
plain, ordinary, drab. I like drab.
lovely little girl. I'm so sorry.
Well, the cake is baked. I am what I am. Freddie's voice is going higher by the day.
No, the cake is not baked. You can't say that. Freddie? Oh, Mr. Right. Mr. Right.
Yeah, but he's changing his name to Miss Wrong of right, and wrong.
I've been thinking.
You've been drinking.
I will not marry Pastor the good minister. I am going to stay with you.
Been drinking too much.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Finally, this is the truth. It is time for me to try to be your mother. I'm going to stay with my daughter.
I see. And what about the good pastor?
Well,
No, don't say it. We can't have too many changes in one night.
This is goodbye. The time has come for me to leave you. I am going to leave you behind.
Oh my God, I can't believe I have to buy a company in 30 minutes. Mother, did we really have that conversation last night? Did you mean what you said?
Yes, darling, we did. And yes, I'm going to stay with you. Now, you go buy your company.
So you're not getting hitched?
Well, I am, in a way. I'm sort of getting unhitched. And I'm getting hitched to you, as I should have been years ago.
Right. Mother, you know you can't undo the damage that's been done. You can't rebake the cake.
I know. But a little frosting can make a big difference. I am going to try. I know what you're thinking, but people can change sometimes, and I am going to try to be a mother. I don't think I've ever tried before, and that was wrong. And now, you go on your big buying spree.
Mother, look. Victoria's Secret.
Oh, it's beautiful. It suits you.
Mother, don't try.
I'm sorry?
Or try if you must, but you should marry Pastor Perkett. I approve.
Oh.
And Father would approve if he could write the marriage vows.
Oh, he's not. I'm not anymore. And you?
I release you. You've done enough.
I don't understand.
Mother, last night was the first time you ever heard me. I felt it. You heard me, and I realized how much I wanted you to hear me, my voice, my cries. I wanted it desperately. Last night, for the first time in our lives, and I mean that literally, you heard me.
Yes, dear, I believe I did.
You should marry the good pastor.
Well, I will have to think about that. I will have to think about a lot of things. I will have to think.
Well, if you marry the good pastor, you have my approval. And I've already selected wedding gifts for both of you.
Really?
For you, a push-up bra. They'll be up to your chin.
Oh, dear.
And for him, a mortgage. I gotta go. Mother, thank you. I love you.
I love you. I love you too, my daughter. Oh, wait. Hello, is this Mr. Wrong? Oh, I'm so silly. Is this Mr. Right, Freddie? Now, we've met a few times. Oh, yes. Oh, you recognized my voice. How sweet of you. I don't mean to interfere in any way, and it's none of my business, although it may be a little. But you see, my daughter and I had a long talk last night, and I think you should know that she loves you. Yes, she does. And I think she may want to marry you. I know it comes as a big surprise to you. Well, of course she hasn't said it. She can't say things like that. She sort of freezes up. And it will take some time, but try to listen to her. No, try to hear her. Yes, I think you do understand. Oh, yes. And Freddie, if I can be of any help, just phone me. Yes. Oh, I'm very sure. There are some things a mother just knows about her daughter. job. Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful experience this has been.